All right. Yeah. Myself situated here. All right. Hey folks, welcome into the News 12 Now Desk. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday, June 2nd. We've made it to the end of the week. You know what that means. We are talking sports on this Friday. I'm joined by our sports director, Dan Booth, and Harlem baseball coach, Jimmie Lewis, fresh off of a state championship, not quite a national championship, but a state championship, ending a pretty good drought there for you guys. So, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. First of all, has it sunk in yet? The state championship win?
Well, I mean, it's kind of sunk in, but I'm still going to, like I was telling you, I'm going to kind of hang on that cloud for just a little while longer.
Yeah, especially after, the drought that you guys have had, 37 years, I think it was, 37, 36, something like that. How good does it feel? Yeah, how good does it feel to get back on top of that mountain?
Well, I'm going to tell you now, I didn't know whether I'd ever get back there or not. I mean, I'm 70 years old, and you're getting on up into the age. You don't know whether you're going to win another one or not, but it feels about as good as I've ever felt before. It's just a fantastic feeling. I was proud for the kids, proud for the fans, proud for my coaches. It's just a fabulous feeling to know that, they're all state champions.
Yeah, and you had a lot of success early on in your time there at Harlem. Won a few state titles within your first 10 years or so. What's it like having to, coming up short for so many years after having that success, that early on success and then having the struggles and now being back on top again?
Well, like I say, in 92, we lost the state championship to Cook County. 99, we lost to Thomasville. So, you're sitting there, I've won some state championships, but I've lost my last two. Am I ever going to get to redeem myself? And this baseball team right here, probably one of the greatest of all time. They let the old man go for the ride, and they won it for me.
Yeah, what was it about this team that made them so special? Because I know in recent years, you and I have talked about your teams just being a little bit too young, going out in the Elite Eight the last couple of years. So what was it about this team that allowed you guys to get over the hump?
These guys had several attributes about them that really, made them special. Number one, they never thought they were going to lose. They always figured they could win no matter what the score. Number two, they were a team-oriented group. They were like a bunch of brothers. They played as a team. There was no jealousy. There was no pouting. There was just pull for each other and play as hard as they could play to win. And number three, they're a bunch of workaholics. Their work ethic was unreal. We didn't have to fuss. We didn't have to raise Cain. They worked and they worked and they worked. In fact, it was cut the lights on every night after practice for about 10 of them to hit. Finally, I just gave them the number to the lights and let them cut them on themselves.
So where does this one rank? I know, it's hard to compare and contrast state championships, but of all the great things you've done in your career, we just celebrated your 800th win not too long ago. Where does this moment rank for you as a head coach?
Well, once again, being 70 years old, it's got to rank as number one. It's got to be the greatest feeling I've ever had. You go 37 years, that's pressure. 37 years worth of pressure mounting on your back. Am I ever going to win another one? Maybe it's time for me to hit the road. I'm over the hill. I don't know. And then boom, all the pressure's off. We win it. And, you get that feeling back of when I first started. Like I told the paper, for a while, I was 20 years old. At 70, kind of left. 50 years left. I became 20. And it's all because of the kids. The players did the job for me.
Yeah, and you've talked about age, talked about am I getting over the hill? So I got to ask, is there any party that thinks maybe it's time to go out on top as a state champion and call it a career here, or no, you want to keep getting back after it?
Well, when you're having fun, you don't stop having fun. I don't know when my time's going to come to end it, but I'm not leaning that way right now. I'm not leaning toward quitting right now. I've got a good group coming back. I'm having fun, and as long as I'm having fun, there's no need to stop doing what you love. My wife will tell me when it's time.
Your wife will tell you when it's time, yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
My wife will tell me when it's time to quit.
I'm sure. And so we saw one cool thing with you guys was the way the community rallied around you. We saw it in the send-off. We saw it on the return home. We saw it at the state championship in Rome. What does it mean to you guys to have this community support, and what does baseball and this team mean to the community?
Well, without them, we couldn't have done it. I mean, we are Harlem. That's our motto. The baseball team won the state championship, but we are Harlem. Everybody in Harlem, the fans, the school, the coaches, the teachers, everybody, the students, we're all champions. We won this for them. They are champions. And without those fans, when you go to Pike County and you got more people at Pike than they had, and when you go to Ringo up in Rome and you've got more people than Ringo had, that means a lot when the players go out on the field and we've got those people behind us. And I don't think we could have done it without them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, I know you wanted to toss a couple things in there, so I'll turn it over to you here.
Yeah, and Coach, and I think maybe, at least for me, one of the things that really sparked that love for the game and that maybe resurgence in youth is, especially in the state championship games, it felt like there were key moments throughout the doubleheader where that momentum pendulum could have swung in either direction, but you guys found out a way to bunker down, take care of business, and do what you had to do. Whether it was in the seventh inning of game one, where you guys put up 3 runs in the top of the inning and were able to take the lead and then hold on, or it was late on in game 2 where you guys had a 1-2-3 double play and got out of a bases loaded jam with no outs, which is still mind-boggling to me. So just how important were those moments to your state championship, but also what does it say about this team that they were able to perform in those key moments like that?
Well, there's one or two things I would say. Number one, they never think they can lose. They believe they can win no matter what. And number two, I think the Lord Almighty kind of had a little something to do with it. I thanked him big time. I prayed like I don't know what that bases loaded double play in it, and he answered the prayer. So I think he was there with us. I'm going to have to give the Lord the credit on that one because that was a miracle.
And something, no doubt. And I think it's something that we talked about early in the season was how, you guys aren't an individual team, how you guys really rolled out there, how individualism really wasn't a part of what you guys are. I have to ask about 2 of your guys, though, because I have to ask about Tristan McClatty, who had one of the best performances at the plate that I've seen in a state championship game over those 2 games. I guess just for him first, what are the Clemson Tigers getting in Tristan McClatty, knowing how talented he is and what he brings to the table?
Number one, the head coach over there is getting somebody that's going to bug him to practice 24/7. I can assure you that. He's one of the hardest working kids I've ever seen. Great attitude, just a team attitude. He'll tell you, he tries to do things to help the team win, to help his brothers, so he calls it, win. Great kid, great attitude, super smart in his grades, very respectful. If he wasn't Tony and Katie's son, I'd want him to be mine. He's just one of them kind of kids, great kid, and we're going to miss him. His leadership through action is going to be hard to replace, but he's just a great kid, I'm telling you.
And speaking of action, when it comes to Will Holder, who as a sophomore pitched a complete game to close out the state championship, as a sophomore, I was playing on varsity myself, but I wasn't pitching a complete game in a state championship. So what does it say about what his future is looking like, knowing how well he performed and what we've seen from him over the last couple of years?
Well, he's kind of in the same mold as Tristan. He's a hard worker. He's hard-nosed now. He pitched those last 3 series with a hurt pinky finger. It was kind of hurt. I don't know how bad, but it was hurting him. But every time I'd ask him, are you okay? I'm all right. I'm all right. In fact, he told me one time, I'm all right. Leave me in here. He's a battler. He went out on the mound and he battled, and he was pretty doggone good at the plate too. We batted him second behind Tristan to protect Tristan. If you're gonna walk Tristan, then you got to face Will Holder. But he's a good kid. He's smart, does well in his grades, hard worker, does things when you want things done, like get balls up, get equipment up. He's already doing it. him and Tristan already kind of doing it. So I'm looking for him next year to do good things, but I'm looking for him also to be a leader as a junior. That's key. Can the team coming back next year lead like the 6 seniors led us this year? That'll be the difference. If they do, we're going to be okay.
And no doubt. And I think that, being able to still have that chip on your shoulder is part of any great championship run, right? So, and keeping that grind. And I think one of the things that you mentioned briefly at the end of everything over in Rome, I should say, is another reason this was special for you is because your grandson plays on this team. So what was this like for you and your family that you were able to win a state championship with your grandson on the roster?
Well, see, all 4 of my sons were runner-ups. My oldest son, my middle son, and my other 2 sons, they were runner-ups. We didn't get a chance to win it. I didn't get a chance to experience winning a state championship with my sons, and I would have given anything for that. That would have topped everything. Of course, the runner-ups are pretty special too. I consider them great years also. But to win it with my grandson was something special. He'll have a ring, and he'll always remember this, that he was on the state championship team with Papa, and that warms my heart to know that. It was great and special. He didn't play all the time, but he had a great attitude. What got me about him was he was a team attitude. He pulled for the guy that was out there in front of him. When he got out in the field, the guy that I took out pulled for him. So that's the type team we were. That's the type of leaders that he was. My grandson was a great leader, and he was a good ball player. And, it was something special. Made it even more special. That's why I got to say this is the most special year of all.
And that really is, that's awesome. And I think the other cool part about, your success is you guys were ranked nationally by one of the main college polls or coaches polls in the country. So what does that mean to you? What does that mean to Harlem? What does this mean to this team in general that you have been recognized in that way, knowing everything you've accomplished this year?
Well, I mean, we've never, I don't think we've ever been ranked before. We might have been in the early years, but I don't remember. But to be ranked 33rd in the nation, a little town, one red light town of Harlem, in a AAA school, we got about 1,300 students. But to be ranked 33rd in the nation, that's super special, and they deserve it. They need to be right there. Like I told them, I said, you can beat any team in the state of Georgia, all classifications. And I told them this every day, all year long. I said, there's only one team that you can't beat. And they'd all look at me and they'd say, who? And I'd say, you, if your attitude goes south and you don't continue to work hard and keep the goal of winning your last game in sight. And they did what I asked. They kept the goal in sight. They won the state championship. They're 33rd in the nation. I mean, maybe I guess we could do 32 times better. We could have been first in the nation, but we'll take 33rd for this little small place.
Awesome, Coach. Nick?
Yeah, Coach, when you look at the identity of all your championship teams, how are you going to remember this specific team in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be?
Hey, man, you're pretty nice giving me 20 more years. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'm going to tell you, first of all, to get out of trouble with all my other teams is I love every one of them, every one of those championship teams. In fact, every one of my years, it doesn't matter. All 45, I love them all. But those championship teams, especially that first one was unbelievable. My first year to win it after Tommy Price had been in there and done 1-2, that was big, and it was super special. All of them are special. This one, like I said, with my grandson on there with 35-1, with 33rd in the nation, just the team attitude of the players. I mean, this is the greatest team attitude by any group of kids I've ever coached. It makes it super special. But I'm going to take the state championships and the runner-ups, and I'm going to rank them all equal. Isn't that kind of like a political deal to do?
That's a very coachish thing to do, I will say. Yeah.
There you go.
When was there a moment in the season that you were like, okay, this team is special. This team can make a state championship run?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when you beat a great team like Greenbrier 3 times, now we scrimmaged them, actually won 4 times. You beat a great team like Greenbrier, I knew then this crowd's special. We're going to do something good this year. I didn't know whether we'd win a state championship or not, because it's tough to win a state championship. 5 super tough rounds, but when you can beat Greenbrier as good as they are and as well coached as they are, you know you've got to be pretty good.
Yeah, and so now looking ahead, we've got next year. You guys are going to be coming out with the targets on your back as the defending state champions. So you said you lost 6 seniors. What did you lose in that senior class beyond just play on the field? What intangibles did that senior class bring to this group?
One major thing: leadership. This crowd led. They led by action. They led by a silent confidence. You know what I'm saying? They were confident. They weren't cocky and all, but they were confident. They let the team know that we can win under any circumstances. And they also they helped the team become like brothers. I mean, they all loved each other. They played hard for each other, and that's the key. They wasn't playing for themselves. They were playing for each other. Even Tristan got a scholarship to Clemson, going to Clemson. He wasn't playing for that. He was playing for his brothers on the team, wanting to win along with them. So the leadership, I think, is the key that they brought us. Now, they were good, talented, too. I mean, you take Pierce Purdue behind the plate. Without him, we don't win. I mean, fantastic defensive player. And you take Mason Crozier, pitcher, relief pitcher, did a fantastic job. You take Tristan, of course, an excellent job. And Emory Burnett playing third base, hitting real well. Then you take Landon Lewis and you take Braden Prince. They subbed in and out when we needed it, and they always came through and did a great job. So they played well, the seniors, and they led like they were supposed to. That's the key. That's the big takeaway that we're going to have to replace.
Yeah, and on a personal standpoint, like I mentioned before, last year we celebrated your 800th win. Coach Barnes is not too far ahead of you at this point. He's obviously retired. A couple more seasons like you had this year, you could pass him in wins. Is that something you want to stick around to try and do?
No, I'm not concerned about that. I'd like to get in the 900 club. That would be cool if I could do that in the next 2 years. I'm not after trying to beat somebody or whatever. I've always said this. I haven't won a game since 1969. I beat Evans pitching. I was on the mound and I pitched and I beat Evans. That's the last game I won. My team and players have won 860 games, and I'm thankful and I appreciate that. But I'm not after that. Coach Barnes has got me way too far. I'd be 80 years old before I called him. He's one of the greatest coaches that's ever been in this area, along with Terry Holder. It just honors me to be mentioned with those 2 guys.
It is well deserved, Coach. You've been a busy man for the last few months. You finally got a little time to relax as we get into the summer. Any shows you got to catch up on? What do the next couple of months look like for you?
Well, right now, we're going to go to the beach here in about 3 weeks. I got to take my whole family to the beach, and we'll have a good time there. But right now, I've got another battle going. My garden's got away from me, and the weeds are winning. The weeds are whipping me down. I got to get in that garden today and try to pull more weeds. I'm gonna get them, but it may take me 900 wins before I ever beat them weeds.
Well,
That's about all I'm gonna do.
I have a lot of faith that you can get it done, Coach. I've seen you do some pretty great things when coaching some teams. I got no doubt you could beat a few weeds. Dan, was there any other questions you had?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, whenever I go home, I'm the yard work guy. So I'm mowing the lawn, doing the weeds, all that. So I definitely get that. And that's something that I'm going to have to do when I go back home in a couple of months.
Telling you, I hate it, but it got to be done.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on to the show here. Thank you again so much, and congratulations on another state championship season. Really fun keeping up with your guys this year.
Thank y'all, and go Harlem Dogs.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right.
Recording stopped.
So, again, a big thank you to Coach Lewis and Dan for taking some time out this morning, joining us here on the News 12 Now desk. So much fun to listen to a guy with that many stories and that much experience be able to share some of that with us. So we are going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we'll talk about Mayor Garnett Johnson supposed to be holding a meeting today to talk about the ongoing cyber attack facing Augusta. So we'll take a quick break here, get that set up, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.